supposed to be paid if you're doing work for the company. If it's purely learning, that's a different matter.
Any other questions from the media? Dan.
Under what state or federal laws are these jobs promised? And did Forsey Radner sign a contract specifically stipulating that he would provide X number of jobs?
Right. So you don't have to, there's contract law. Contract law does not have to be in writing. If a promise is made, it has to be kept. These were promises made over and over and over again. They were made in the community benefits agreement. They were made to these plaintiffs personally. They were made at orientation. You can read the complaint. This is if a promise is made, it has to be kept. That is contract law. That is the law.
Two-part question. First of all,
Could you step forward a little louder?
sorry, Stephen Witt from Our Time Press. Oops. First of all, the arena had just started. They're going to do a building. Would these plaintiffs, would you take a job if the buildings went up in this climate? Or, I mean, what are you asking? The second part is what damages are you seeking? And the first part is as the project moves forward, would you take a job in one of the other buildings? I mean,
You mean as a compromise?
how do you, in other words, can you attribute part of this to the economy?
So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. We're not going to negotiate right now at this, in a press conference. We are seeking damages. Damages were done to these plaintiffs, so we're not going to say right now what it is that we would settle for. That we haven't made an offer.
So can I ask the plaintiffs, if the building came up, would you take a job?
Well, I don't believe the plaintiffs are in a position to negotiate before the cameras. The reality is that they were promised a job at the onset of the construction of the arena. They are unemployed today. What you're suggesting is that they take a job at a later point in time. That was not part of the agreement, and we will not negotiate in
You
public.
brought them to speak, so I want to ask them a question.
And at this point in time, what the question is a hypothetical, and I'm not in a position to answer hypotheticals. Any other questions?
How many jobs have you brought the community, Council Member James?
Sir, we can have that private conversation. The answer is quite a bit. And
Can you name one?
In fact, you've talked about it. You've complimented me. Read your articles.
Let's to the text of the community benefits agreement is less specific than some of the statements in the lawsuit. There's aspiration to get jobs. There's nothing, at least in my reading, that is purely enforceable in the community benefits agreement that they're supposed to aspiration to get jobs. But are they guaranteed jobs by the CBA, or is it the oral statements that were made during the training?
It's a combination of what was said in the community benefits agreement. It's a combination of what was said to them, that they were promised this. They relied on not just what was in the community benefits agreement, but what all of the politicians who stood up there and said, there are going to be jobs for you. And that was part of the community benefits agreement. Mayor Bloomberg said, you can trust Bruce Ratner, he's going to bring you jobs. They had every reason to believe that they were going to get jobs. And union jobs at Atlantic Yards.
Is this a class action? Is this something more people can join?
Media. Questions from the media?
Were all the members of Bill 2? Were all the plaintiffs members of Bill 2 before the lawsuit?
Yes. Yes. The question is, were you members of Bill before the lawsuit?
Yes. As a
Answer.
matter of fact, I have supported. I was a former Bill member that supported Forest City Ratner project. Yes.
And before we close, let me just answer Mr. Witt's statement. Mr. Witt, just last week at a press conference, we announced a supermarket near the Navy Yard where over 70 of the individuals came from Ingersoll, Whitman, and Farragut. At no point in time did we ask for any government help. That was done through hard work, my office, and district leaders. In addition, we anticipate a major destination supermarket coming into the Navy Yard, and over 70% of the jobs will go to residents of Ingersoll, Whitman, and Farragut. Thank you all for coming.